Well, the West Indies certainly stood up and fought back. And joining me to talk about it all is the former England international and now broadcaster, Ebony Rainford-Brent. Ebony, thank you very much for talking to us on Beyond the Game. Now, it was a thrilling win from the West Indies. How do you think they turned it around from Edgbaston?
Yeah, I think, do you know what, they're a team that are struggling, but I think some good things that are happening at the moment. Stuart Law is a fantastic coach who is coming in to drive this new team forward. And there's been some changes with Johnny Grave, who's the new chief executive. And they also, interestingly, brought in a psychologist, Stephen Sylvester, who's been working with the team over the last couple of weeks. And I think that between all of those guys bringing together, they got the belief back in that change room, which they needed, because you look at how England beat West Indies in the first time. They needed that support from the backroom staff, and I think it's starting to click. OK,
well, do you think that this could be a watershed moment for the Test team, and especially with a player like Shakib Hope, who's the only player to score a century in both innings in almost 130 years at Headingley? Is he the key to the West Indies' future?
It is. It's interesting because they've got a lot of players coming through. Obviously, there's Carl Hope as well, his brother. Craig Brathwaite is somebody who can really anchor the innings for the West Indies side. But one thing they're never short of is talent coming through. Royston Chase there on your screen at the moment. He's somebody who's come in and shown control with the ball. And they're starting to build this unit. And I think with the belief from this win, as well as the talent that's coming through, players like Alzari Joseph, who's a fast bowler, I think they've got the makings of something special, and this moment should be the one that gets them started.
OK, well, the talent is certainly coming through. Does that mean this is the end for the likes of Chris Gayle, Bravo and others returning to the Test team?
God, Chris Gale's been around a long time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's interesting because in this amnesty, we talked about Johnny Graves becoming the new chief executive for West Indies. He's got this amnesty, which is a way to bring back these older players like Chris Gayle into the fold, and he's going to be part of the ODI setup. I don't know, it's tough with Chris Gayle. I think that he's got the talent, especially when it comes to short format. But if you need to build a new culture and you want to make the players work hard and invest in the way that you need, he might not be the right cricketer. So they're going to be in a bit of conundrum. He's somebody that you want playing, but you need players like the captain there, Jason Holder, who inspires and brings the team together to inspire those young players to play. So it's a tough call, but we may see the likes of Chris Gayle come back for these ODIs.
OK, that'll be interesting. Now, for this generation of West Indian cricketers, is there a fear of wearing the jersey because they'll always be in the shadow of the blackwash era?
It's really tough. Do you know, I can't think there's many other nations who have to deal with the pressure that the West Indians do. I mean, that era when you had Curtly Ambrose, Viv Richards, you know, the Brian Laras as well, which is a bit later on from that generation. But those guys coming through who were the best, they dominated, like you say, the blackwash era. It's very tough to live up to that. I've heard Jason Holder talk about every time you go out to play, you're hearing these names said over and over again. It is tough, and I think now it's about this new generation forging their own way forward. I think they're capable, as we've seen from this win. You know, they beat one of the best Test teams out there at the moment. England just beat South Africa. So it's about them forging their own way, but they have a lot to live up to, and it's always going to be in the background. OK, well, Ebony, if you just stay there for a moment, because the upsets don't stop there. While the Windies were celebrating their first win over England in more than a decade, Bangladesh was taking apart the Australian side at home in Mirpur. David Warner's century for Australia proving fruitless as the visitors lost 8 for 86 to the spin of the incredible Shakib Al Hasan, who got 10 for the match. It's the first time Bangladesh have beaten the cricketing heavyweight in Test cricket in what has been an incredible year for the Tigers after beating England and Sri Lanka already this year.
They've certainly come a long way the last couple of years. I think they're a dangerous side, particularly here at home, as we've seen. They've just beaten us. They obviously beat England not too long ago. So they're a team that's confident in these conditions. They've got some good players. I thought Tamim Iqbal looked very good at the top of the order, chanced his arm and played some good aggressive cricket. Shakib played particularly well in the first innings and bowled well in both innings as well. So their experienced players really stood up in this game for them, and I thought they played very well.
So, Ebony, you were in Bangladesh when they beat England, and now they've got a historic win over Australia and Sri Lanka. Are we finally seeing them come good on their potential?
Yeah, Bangladesh are a dangerous side. They've been a dangerous side for a long time, especially in the one-day format. But what's really nice to see is how they're starting to evolve in this test format. And I think things that are working for them, they've got experienced players. Shakib Al Hasan getting 2 fifers is amazing. Tamim Iqbal as well, who scores a lot of runs. But it's the younger players coming through, like Mahedi Hassan as well, who are just starting to add this dynamic team of a mixture of youngsters who are hungry, as well as experienced players who can deliver. Everybody knows that Australia are vulnerable in the subcontinent, but this is a massive win for Bangladesh. It backs up, showing that they're not just a flash in the pan, but they're a team to be concerned about, especially when they're playing at home. Their fans get behind them. It's just brilliant to see, and I think they're dangerous going forward.
Well, we've had a period of convincing wins in Tests. Is it down to complacency from the two cricketing superpowers, or is it a case of that England and Australia just looking ahead to the Ashes and not focusing on what's in front of them?
I genuinely think both teams have been outplayed here, because both matches, actually, Australia and England were in winning positions. You think about England declaring, they had the game in their hands and they had an opportunity to win. And also Australia, they were just chasing down a score and comfortably had the opportunity. I think the key here, though, is that the teams are hungry and they've got dangerous bowlers. They've got that makeup in them that makes them capable of pulling these wins off. I don't think England or Australia were complacent. I think they got beaten on the day by better opponents, and they're going to have to go now and deal with this and come back stronger, because these teams are fighting for this opportunity.
All right, Ebony, thank you so much for coming on. Great talking to you.